consulting firm. This is what the average candidate thinks before the interview. The HR said, "I will have a case interview, so I will spend my next 2 weeks on case prep." However, on the interview day, reality will be different. Your interviewer will start with something like, "Let's spend the next 20 minutes talking about your experience." What follows is a long series of challenging, experience-based questions which leave many candidates dazed. The fit interview is the most overlooked step in preparation process. While candidates spend time and effort refining their resume, brushing up their math skills for analytical tests, and prepping intensively for cases, they tend to underestimate the importance of the fit interview. Here are the 3 common misconceptions about fit interviews. Some candidates think it's going to be a standard motivational interview like everywhere else. However, consulting fit interviews are different. They are challenging, in-depth assessment of a specific skill set that determines whether you'll be likely to succeed as a consultant. Many candidates think they already had a fit interview with HR over the phone, and now they are preparing for a case interview. However, you should bear in mind that there is no case interview without 15 to 30 minutes of fit interview before. Sometimes, when it's too late to prep, you will hear candidates saying after the interview, "I was good at cases, they should pass me to the next round." Unfortunately, they are likely to be disappointed. The fit interview plays a crucial role in the final hiring decision. No average is taken between the case and fit interviews. Underperformance in either of them will lead to rejection. Welcome to our introduction to fit interviews. Here you'll learn the key insights about fit interview every applicant should know. Let's start with a few key facts about fit interviews. It's a mandatory part of each consulting interview that takes from 15 to 30 minutes. You may have 2 or 3 interviews in a row, and every single interviewer will ask you fit questions. Although fit interviews seem much closer to standard job interviews, consultants know how to make them tricky. They have demanding standards and expectations for answering these types of questions. You may ask, well, what's the point of the case then? Think about it the following way. Case interviews help consultants to test your problem-solving skills. Fit interviews aim to assess your soft skills and motivation. It is the combination of the different skills tested across both interviews that make for a successful consultant. What is the rationale of a fit interview? Consulting is not only about coming up with the best analysis, it's more and more about making things happen. In the interview, consultants want to assess whether you are ready to generate real impact. This requires managing senior clients and working every day with colleagues in a team. On top of these, you'll get bonus points if you could differentiate yourself from the hundreds of other applicants who fit the previous criteria. Let's start with clients. First of all, consulting is a client-facing job that requires a high level of professionalism. You need to possess maturity and confidence and be able to communicate with a simple, top-down approach. At the interview, you should also be ready to provide examples of convincing other people and organizing them to achieve your objectives. Second, consulting is about teamwork. In your stories, interviewers will look for examples of proactively taking ownership, structuring, and prioritizing efforts to work efficiently. They'll also be looking for someone who is willing to accept feedback from colleagues whilst being fun to work with. Finally, you can imagine how many applicants fit the first 2 criteria. Consulting interviews are becoming more and more competitive, so you have to find a way to differentiate yourself from others. Interviewers will be looking for spikes, meaning strengths that make you unique. Make sure to mention them in your stories. You also have to differentiate yourself in other ways, with your intellectual capacity, interests, or a unique background. Imagine a consultant conducting 3 or even 5 interviews in a row. What will she remember at the end of the day? Will it be your story? How is the fit interview structured? The fit interview has 2 parts. First, a set of questions asked to you in the beginning of the interview. then an opportunity for you to ask your questions to the interviewer after the case. There are 3 typical sets of questions you'll likely receive. Tell me about yourself, or walk me through your resume. This is how consultants usually begin the interview. It's an opportunity for them to learn about you and to pick some interesting facts. Don't lose this opportunity since the first impression is usually the strongest. Why consulting? Why McKinsey? Or why BCG? Questions are used to assess your motivation to be a consultant in general and to work in that firm in particular. They will check that you have done your homework and what you've learned about them. They also want to make sure that you have a clear intention of working in consulting. Next, the interviewer will also ask you to provide examples from your background to assess how good you are as a leader or team player, how you can create impact and persuade people, or how you can achieve your goals. These are all parts of the consulting mindset, the DNA of consultants, and you should be ready to prove that you have it. At the end of the interview, you will also have an opportunity to ask your questions to the interviewer. Most of the candidates disregard this part in the preparation, but it's a great chance to demonstrate intellectual capacity and build some relationship with interviewer. Fit interview length and depth may also vary by firm. McKinsey is a bit more structured and demanding in its approach with the fit component, taking up to 30 minutes. They will ask all sets of questions, including a story, on one of 3 competencies: leadership, achievement, or personal impact. BCG interviews are a bit shorter and a bit less structured and detailed. They will also test competencies like leadership, impact, and teamwork. On the contrary, Bain consultants will be less concerned about your stories and will not have strict guidelines. They will mostly check your background and motivation. The interview process description on a company's website is often just a set of bullet points. What are they really expecting from you? First of all, interviewers are not looking for cliched ideas about consulting like the one that consulting is an exciting and diverse job. Rather, they are looking for a mature understanding of what this job is about. Be specific in the skills and experiences you plan to acquire, types of projects you want to participate in, and your rationale for choosing the firm. Here is an example. For me, one of the reasons to join consulting is to build a great network of intelligent and innovative professionals, both in my home country and abroad. The candidate is pragmatic in her understanding of consulting and will resonate with interviewers' experience. You may not have enough experience to tell stories about leading a department or launching your own company, but you are expected to have stories of taking ownership of an opportunity and managing people. Here is an example. When I got my job at ABC Ventures, I managed to find several ways to improve the deal sourcing process. I organized a couple of volunteers to pilot the new approach and shared the ideas with our partners. Basically, you're saying that you found an opportunity to improve something, took initiative, organized people, and made things happen. Please note this is just a summary. You should prepare the whole story for the interview. Your stories are not limited to your work experience. Tell how you held a public speaking class, for example, how it required you to use the tools consultants commonly use, communication and teamwork. Tell the interviewer how you improved the team process by providing constructive feedback, organizing problem solving, or using experts to support your arguments. Continuing from the previous example, to convince my boss to test the new deal sourcing process, I made a detailed analysis of potential cost saving, collected best practices from comparable ventures, and got feedback on my idea from other analysts. Olympic medals are not a requirement. Be sure, Big Three contain high achievers in all areas, but what is important is demonstrating your personal growth and experience overcoming obstacles. This is an extremely powerful personal story. I always had problems with extra weight and clumsiness, so I decided to learn dancing. In just a few years, I've managed not only to solve my problems, but also to win several championships and become more confident. This story of commitment, maturity, and growth is as powerful and relevant as one of winning a medal. As with the case interview, consultants have a clear set of expectations from your fit interview performance. So what do they expect from you in your answers? First, you should stick to the point using a structured approach to your stories. For example, you can use the STAR framework in your stories. STAR means situation, task, action, and results. In situation, quickly explain the setting. In task, describe your role and what you were supposed to do. In action, describe what you did to go the extra mile. In results, outline how your action had an impact on the initial situation. Second, you should be fact-based. Interviewers are looking for stories from your real life rather than abstract concepts that you've picked from textbooks. Third, you should know the details. Consultants like to challenge and dive deep into the facts and numbers. They have the professional skill to analyze and find inconsistencies, so be honest and refresh your memory in advance. Fourth, you should be concise. Time is crucial, and consultants tend to be anxious and eager to get to the meat. Answer the additional questions directly and with no mumbling. Respect the time of the interviewer. On the other hand, don't hesitate to ask for a few seconds to think if you don't have an immediate answer or the question is complex. One final suggestion: have a backup. If you hear that a story does not fit, first of all, understand the underlying reasons and then immediately provide another story from your backup. We hope you enjoyed this introduction. This is just the beginning. There is much more to discover in our step-by-step course, designed to get you up to speed on all areas of the Fit interview. Discover the full course on myconsultingcoach.com.